Howdy. So, today is June 10th, 2021, and it's kind of a benchmark for me. A year ago today, I was declared cancer-free for the first time, and by odd coincidence, as the universe would have these things play out. Hey, you want to come up? Come on. So, by odd coincidence, there you go. Yesterday was probably one of the most momentous and challenging days of the latest treatment cycle and everything. The day before, I had a blood draw in the morning. This is the 8th, and then a CT scan in the afternoon. And then yesterday morning, I had a consultation with the oncologist, and the 5th infusion in the afternoon, and then a crown put in around 5, and yeah, very, so I can chew on this side of my face without having to worry too much. Doesn't hurt anymore, thank goodness. In case you missed it, the middle of before the last infusion, I had to have an emergency root canal. It was probably triggered by the immunotherapy. It kind of sets off any low-grade infections in your body to get dealt with, and it got dealt with. So I have some pretty momentous news. In the consultation yesterday, let me take a step back. I've been part of, since this latest round of cancer treatment that started on St. Patrick's Day, the 17th of March, with the first of 6 infusions 3 weeks apart. I have been part of a research study, and so what they did is about a month before we started the treatment, I had a physical biopsy of the tumor that was in one of the lymph nodes of my neck, and they make a long story short, they sequenced the DNA of that of those cancer cells, and the purpose of which was to be able to detect the genetic markers in my blood. And so every time I've gone to get an infusion, they have taken another sample of my blood and then checked it against the first reading, looking for those genetic markers in my blood. And yesterday, the consultation was the first time we got the results back, and so there were 4 data points, starting with the initial sequencing of the biopsy cells, and make a long story short, it appears that the cancer was gone by April 7th, or at least there are no markers showing up in the blood since April 7th. And this study, it doesn't go down to parts per hundred, but it goes down to parts per thousand. So according to that, it's undetectable at this point, which is okay. The guy spoke the words. He says, "You've been cancer free since April 7th, according to this data." So there it is again, right? It's so weird that it's like exactly a year since the last time I was declared cancer free. There's still another. I did the infusion yesterday. There's another one at the end of the month, and on the 30th, and on the 29th, we're going to be doing a PET scan, and we'll have the results back from that CT scan I did the day before yesterday as well. So things are looking really good. For the most part, I feel pretty good. I'm still dealing with the fatigue that comes with this, and it feels like there's a weight on me, but it's not. It's certainly not unbearable, and I'm certainly one of the luckiest people on the planet right now. Not the least of which is I'm able to hold a conversation, and I'm not in pain of any kind. I'm looking at a future on Earth, which sounds kind of funny, but I'm sure you can understand that these things are not to be taken for granted after you've been through this enough. So this next infusion, the one that happens on the 30th, will be, we've agreed to assess after the PET scan whether or not to make it a double dose, in which case that'll be 400 milligrams of this drug, and I wouldn't have to do any more infusions. They wouldn't schedule any more infusions for at least 6 weeks, and it's not out of the question for me to stop doing treatment after those infusions, although they they recommend that these infusions go on for 2 years, and I'm like, I don't see that happening. I talked about it with the doctor yesterday, because I feel like I don't want my immune system to get too used to the presence of this drug in my system, and because I think it'll just make my immune system weaker once I get off of it. So the sooner I can, let my immune system take the, do its full job without any intervention, the better. And we talked about it, so it's not when as and if that happens this summer. I would be covered up until the middle this next infusion until the middle of August, about August 15th or so, and then we would reassess. So I'm feeling like it'll be enough to, if all goes well and I feel strong enough, and there's no signs of a recurrence or anything like that, I feel that I'm probably gonna cease the infusions after that. Like, in other words, this next infusion may be my last infusion. Speaking of infusions, by the way, I just had one yesterday, and following what I did last time, I'm a couple of miles from the hot spring. I'm going to go soak for today and tomorrow. It was such a really made getting through the first couple of days a whole lot easier than the other times when I didn't have the ability to soak. Um, so I'm gonna skedaddle shortly and get on down into the springs. Um, so that's what's happening with that. You may have seen that creature just um, in and out of the picture there, and uh, I'm dog sitting for my sister who's gonna make a journey back to the East Coast. She's letting go of her old house, and I got to clean it out and whatnot. But she'll be back by the 26th, and before the next infusion, and we're gonna meet up, and I'll give her back her dog Jasper, who is so cool. This dog is a friggin' love muffin and a horn dog. Uh, by the way, he really likes women. It's like he gets all excited. Um, so my sister rescued him from a shelter, apparently from somebody who really loved the bejeebers out of this dog, because the dog's 3 years old, and you can just tell that all it's done its whole life is just love, you know, and snuggle and being really close to a human. And apparently the person who owned him had some kind of medical thing where they couldn't take care of him anymore, which I'm sure must have been really devastating to both of them. And because this dog is just so sweet, you wouldn't let him go unless you had to, you know. Um, but anyway, I look at it like the universe says, okay, David, part of your healing right now is this being bombarded by this love muffin. You know, the dog's got one program, and that program is, you're not touching me? Why are you not touching me? Why don't you want my nose? Why don't you want my tongue licking your nose? What's up with that? You know? Why are we not snuggling? You should have your hands on me. You should be petting me right now. You know? It's like, and your reasoning goes right out the window. It's like, well, I guess you're right. Because he is relentless, you know? So I'm going to take that as just another sign of the blessings I'm being bestowed upon. I want to say another thing about this shamanic journey that I've been on, especially through these 6 infusions. It came to me after the second infusion that each one of these is like its own initiation. You know, they all kind of take you down into your depths, and there's a space there to like really get a look at life, the universe, and everything, and my existence, and existence in general, if I so choose to look into that. And I think that's one of the reasons why I'm so embracing this project, the 8th Book of Divine Metaphysics project. And the past week I haven't been posting them every day, in part because I've been doing the work and spending a lot of time off grid. I spent a lot of time in Big Sur, where in places where there's no reception or anything, but um, I did write a lot, and uh, I wrote several and posted them when I got to um, to civilization. Yesterday was really kind of weird, with all that medical stuff and everything. There I am in the chair, got my needles in the arm and bags on the thing draining into my arm, and I'm getting all these ideas, uh, these insights coming to me, and I wrote yesterday's thing. I haven't posted it yet. Um, so in case you're wondering, what I do is I compose 10 questions on divine metaphysics. Yeah, yeah, you're good. You're good. And then I recite them, record myself reciting them, and then I take that track and compose some music that goes along with it, and then put that together with a visual uh, clip of you know my work, and then post it on social media. And today, I think yesterday was day 80, so today would be day 81. If I get around to writing. Um, I'm not sure if anybody's really paying any attention to it, but it doesn't really matter if people are, because when it's all over, um, I'm hoping to do it through the end of this. My intention was to do it through these infusions, the duration of the infusions. So when it's all done, I'll put it together into a book, and because I'm producing at least a minute to 3 to 4 minutes a day of video, that's a pretty sizable. Uh, just putting the minute long clips together is obviously almost 2 hours. Will be almost 2 hours worth of material. Um, so I'm kind of excited to see what all that looks like in the end. And it'll also be an audiobook at some point. And it felt important to me to use this time as an opportunity to turn what could be, somewhat of an ordeal, this healing cycle, into an opportunity for to do what I could to be a clear vessel for information to come through of a metaphysical nature, given the fact that I've been kind of tiptoeing along the edge between the two worlds over the past 2 years, having on a couple of occasions actually had death reveal itself to me in the personal. So, and I've certainly had plenty of time to contemplate it, and not to mention to see people that are going through similar challenges, and some of them not make it. So there's that. It is. It has been. We all. I have. I guess I had expectations that doing this work would matter more to more people, but I recognize that it doesn't really matter what my expectations are, right? All that matters is that I do my work and trust in the unfolding, you know? And yeah. So, I'm I'm looking forward to obviously to the end of the cancer treatment, and my goal is to go to the Rainbow Gathering right after the next infusion, and wherever that is. And I've heard that there may be one in New Mexico and there may be one in Idaho, and I'm going to try to make it to both if I can. And then I'm going to head back to the Cape to fly my paraglider and see my peeps from my hometown, Falmouth, and catch up with people along the way and back before I have to make it back to the West Coast by the end of the summer. I will probably be at out on the playa at the end of the summer. I don't know if it's whether it's Burning Man or not Burning Man or whatever the hell people are calling it, and then make it back down to start flying again, to finish my training for my P3 and P4 down at Torrey Pines. So I'm in the enviable position of having plans on Earth that I have a reasonable chance of actually following through on. It's so weird when you go from, when this whole thing started, I didn't know how long I had to live. Not that anybody does, but there was a stretch there where I didn't think that I would see the spring, and when I finally started the chemo and radiation in February of 2020, we were able to turn things around, and I saw I might see the summer, and then a year ago when I was declared cancer free, it was a very heady time, and out of that came my decision that I was going to learn how to fly. Something that I'd always wanted to do since I was 5 years old. And honestly, up until that point, I had kind of reconciled, even before I was declared cancer-free, I'd kind of reconciled myself to the fact that I would probably leave the world without ever learning how to fly. And then, I don't know, something happened last summer. I just decided I had saved enough money, and I had nothing better to do than to fulfill my lifelong dream, of learning to fly. So I did, and by by December, I had passed the P2 certification, which made it possible for me to learn to fly without being under supervision, and which means I can go to sites that are either P2 or are unregulated, and fly to my heart's content, and it's been kind of challenging because January is when I realized that the cancer was back, and it wasn't confirmed for, it took them 2 months before we started treatment. And finally, by the time we started treatment, or I should say when we started treatment, there was no, it just kind of zapped my energy, and, I was in no shape to really continue my training. And but I did give it a try about a month ago. I spent a week up in Monterey Bay, trying to get some kind of shape going and get strong enough so that I could try to fly. And eventually I did. I was able to get in the air, and for about a minute and a half, but it felt so wonderful, and I'm really kind of jonesing for it right now. But I recognize that it's best to be patient and again trust in the unfolding. And it's not something that I'm not. I'm still in the novice stage of the fledgling stage of learning how to paraglide, and I don't want to overdo it and ruin the possibility of completing my course of instruction. And so I'm being patient, and we're gonna see how I feel in a couple of days after I soak, and in terms of the side effects of this drug, the arthritic symptoms. See how bad they are this time. So anyway, that's pretty much all the news that's fit to print. I will forget something I was supposed to say, but I just wanted to let people know that have been paying attention what's been happening. And so if you just tuned in, once again, I've been I was notified yesterday that I was, according to this latest study, that I've been cancer-free since April 7th. And we're continuing the treatment until the end of the month, and then we'll see where we go from there. So PET scan on the 29th, blood draw on the 29th, consultation on the 30th, and last infusion with a double dose on the 30th. And then probably hit a hot spring for a day or so, and then head off to the gathering, wherever it is, New Mexico. If it's in New Mexico, I hope it's at Tres Piedras, because there's I may be able to fly my paraglider into the main circle. There's a launch site there. So anyway, that's what's up. It's all news fit to print for now. Jasper, what a blessing. That's the universe kissing me on the lips, or at least licking me in the nostrils, which is Jasper's preferred, form of affection, aside from laying all over you. Anyway, I'm driving up here. I'm driving up here, and he's standing right here, looking at me like, I want to sit in your lap. So I pick him up, I put him in my lap, and he just like lays all over my arms and all over my, all over me while I'm driving, readjusting as the car's shifting and everything like that. But he's in dog dow, dog zen, whatever. I guess he's just kind of showing us the way, right? Yeah. Alrighty then. And remember, we love you.